Let's turn on the beast. Uh-oh. Screen is not responding. What could possibly go wrong with it? Let's ask the monkey. Hey monkey, what's wrong? Screen is not on. What do we do now? Well, let's try to see if the machine is running without the screen. So you remember when it turns on, first thing is F10 and then F5 and then unlock the servos and turn them on. Looks like the servos are working. And now we're gonna do F4, which should home the axes. And you can see that the column is moving, so the Z is homing. Once the Z homes, then the Y is homing. And then once the Y is done, then the X is gonna home. So it looks like the machine is working, but the screen does not. So let's turn the machine off and pop the back cover and see what's there. There's a set of bolts in the back. I removed all of them but one. And that is the view behind the screen. So here's the back of the screen. As you can see, this is the screen itself. We got some boards here for the keyboard, for the numerical input, and there's some other buttons and switches. And this is the floppy emulator, but this is the screen itself. And this is our lucky day, because as you can see, the screen just uses a standard VGA connector. So if I can wire this up to an external monitor, we can see if that monitor is gonna power up. So why don't we give that a try? Check this out. Isn't it a thing of a beauty? Notice how I mounted it. I love these strips. You can use them pretty much just about for everything. So let's turn it on and see if she comes back to life. Oh, look at that. She is alive. How awesome is that? Except the screen a little larger. So these are the buttons I was talking earlier. You can see I can press F10 to continue, and then we press F5. Now the buttons are a little off because this is a larger display, but you can see this is 2 for the 5th button, so that's F5. And now we can home the machine and do all the jazz. So at this point we know that the machine is working. So the next thing is, let's take the display out, the original display, from the back of the machine and see if we can repair it. The screen itself is mounted by 4 nuts. And off she comes like that. Now you can see through the machine. There you go. Here's the screen in its entire beauty. Looks like there are 4 bolts holding it into this housing. So let's take them out. Okay, looks like it's attached to cables. I'm gonna go and mark the cables. I'm just gonna mark the end of the cables so that I put them back in the same order and in the same orientation. So we got a VGA cable here, and I marked the PCB and I marked the cable. And as you can see, it's tricky because you can flip it 180 and put it back this way, and it will definitely not work. So it can be done this way or that way. And then this is the power connector. It goes to the power cord. And it looks like this connector just pops out. So there's these 2, and there's a 3rd one. So that's the screen. What do we got here? We got a big warning sticker saying electrical hazard, high voltage, 1500 volts AC. So we got 2 boards. This upper one is the logic control board. You can see that it's wired to the screen here that is driving the screen itself, and it's got numerous of wires here, probably 20-25 wires. And then down here we have another board, and you can see it's got 2 outlets, red and a white wire on both sides, and it is wired to these devices. So that is most likely driving the backlights. So these TFT CRT screens have backlights, and it's high voltage, and so this is most likely the inverter. So let's do a quick search. The upper board, the logic board, is called AC0800, and Altera is the main chip on it. As you can see, eBay did not find any matches. There's some stuff there, like AC compressors and such, but I don't see the same board like what's there. So if we go and look for LS520, which is the lower board, you can see it found 88 results, and all of them basically are the same part, and it's called LS520 inverter board for LCD. So what I'm going to do is go and put an order for one of these boards and see if we can resurrect this part. So I did some research, and this is what I found. The inverter board has 7 pins on the input. It's actually like this. And as you can see, we got voltage in, 2 pins, and then we have ground, 2 pins, and then we have on and off, brightness, and SG. And on the outlet we have high and low for the CFL bulbs. So there are 2 CFL bulbs, one on each side. So there's one here, there's one there. So indeed what this inverter does, it will take 12 volt and it will boost it up to 1500 volts AC. Again, this is DC, this is AC. So how can we measure 1500 volts AC? Got this magic box. It says 100 to 1. This is a voltage divider, and it's custom made. This is the output side, this is the input side. So if I hook up this to 1500 volts, I should be able to measure either 15 volts or 1.5 volts here. I think he said it's 1000 to 1, but it clearly says 100 to 1. Do not try this at home. So what I got going on, I'm powering the display with 12 volts from the normal power supply right here. So the VGA connector is not connected, so just a normal power supply. And then it's powering the inverter, and the inverter is sending out 1500 volts here, which goes into the box, and the box is connected to the meter. You can see the meter shows 0 volts. So indeed this inverter is faulty. It doesn't have any output. So this is DC. I can switch to AC. You can see it says 1500 volts AC. So there is no output, either AC or DC output. Well, today is after tomorrow, and look what showed up in a mailbox. It looks to be the same part number, LS520, and it looks to be the same build. It says caution, high voltage right there on the output, and made in Japan. So that is good. You can see it has the same cutouts here through the PCB. I think it's done because of the high voltage, and it's near the output area here, and it's got these little capacitors between the two sides. So let's wire this up and see if it works. Yeah, here is the old and the new ones side by side. You can see it's the same exact build, the same component, denomination, the same output terminals. So this must be a standard part that fails a lot, and you can basically get a new one easily. I think I paid $20 something, $23 with shipping. And just like that, the new board is installed. I'm gonna hook up these wires so we can do a quick test. I'm gonna go AC volts and plug this in. So you can see we got about 6 volts AC, so that would be either 6000 or 600 volts right there. 600 volts right there. Don't play with this at home, kids. Don't do this. Don't repeat what I do. Okay, just enjoy the show, but don't do it. That's 600 volts. It's not a child's play. So I'm gonna shut it down, disconnect the leads, of course one at a time, and then plug in the terminals. There you go. I'm going to plug it back in, and you can see the screen came back on, and it says no video input. So indeed that was the issue. What I'm going to do now is package all this back in and put it back in the machine. Remember that this is not polarized, so you can put it back this way or turn it 180 degrees that way. but I did a marking and I clear the marking is on this side, not on that side. So the tab, this tab is pointing out this way. There you go. Goes back like that, and then we got 4 bolts to attach. Done. Here's the screen. She goes back like so. Make sure we don't pinch any cables, and there are 4 nuts that attach the screen to the frame. Next thing is the VGA cable. You can see it's polarized, it goes only one way. So here's the ground cable. Done. And then the last thing is the 12-volt connection, just plugs in like that. Now here's the moment of truth. Oh, look at that. It's worky. It's not too bright, I would say. Maybe the screen is too old and I'll need to look for a replacement, but nonetheless the screen is working again. So at this point you guys can take bets what is gonna be the next thing that fails on the Fryer mini mill from Jamestown, New York. Until then, I'm signing off. See you on the next video. Bye.